What's up, PK?
What they do?
What they do? Look, I am like, people are asking me for the link. This show is this show is one of them shows.
Yeah, why though? What we do? we just servants here trying to get the word out to the people, man. Inquiring minds
Definitely.
want to know, and we trying to just feed them. That's all.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We come with good love and good positivity.
Always.
And yeah, so I'm excited about tonight's show.
Likewise. And listen, we take this show very seriously because uh Chris Brown concert is tonight. And yeah.
It
And
is.
well and good, I would normally be at that concert hosting some people. My daughters went ahead, you know what I mean, and they're going to be enjoying the concert tonight. But just want y'all to understand how serious and important we take this what we do. We even have to put our vacations on pause. We go on vacation after the next live one, right?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take a
we
little break.
take a little
Yeah.
break. So a little breaky break. So that's what's up. Welcome everybody to the our podcast. My name is Papa Keith from 1035 The Beat, also founder of JustVotePeriod.com. And my amazing co-host is the one and only Janae Tate, the Hilo News founder and publisher. Our very own South Florida hyper local news, the only news that I care about because it's the only news that cares about me here in South Florida. So there you have it, all right? And we've come together, joined forces on many levels, but for us to really get this podcast shaking, all right? And what it really was an opportunity or gave us a vehicle to kind of take all the craziness with voting and political stuff and politics and school board, all
Big
these different,
issues.
yeah,
Yeah.
all these different things and make it digestible because it's very important for you and us, but sometimes, man, this stuff gets so weird or confusing. You don't know what to think. And, so we try to make it, like I said, a lot easier to digest. Did I cover that
Yeah.
correctly?
No, definitely. And we have real conversations for real people about, serious and complex issues that affect your everyday life. And so,
That part.
that part podcast is a dope place to come and get the information that you need to inform your life. So, if you're not watching local news or reading newspapers anymore, like most people, this is a place to come and actually hear from the sources. A lot of times our interviews are really dope, especially this season has been amazing. And so you're hearing it right from the
Mhm.
source on what the issue is and what it's about. And so definitely you guys got to make sure y'all like and subscribe. Comment right now, especially if you're watching on YouTube. We're trying to get our followers up. We want to get monetized. The first tier is 500 subscribers. So we're on our way. We got a little ways to go, but make sure y'all like, subscribe, and send this to someone. Also, to Replay Gang, that works too. Watch for at least, 5 minutes of the show. Look,
That part.
that is so it could count as a view. Put it on replay if you cleaning up or whatever. Like, help us out. This thing helps us continue to do the work that we're doing and the sacrifices that PK and I are making to make sure we produce this show. We do see the gains, but it'll be good to have the monetary gains as well.
What they say coming to America, yeah, we like the money that jingles, but we want the one that full.
Yeah.
Coming to America. We like the support that gives us the views, but we'd like the support that allows us to actually do this and allows us to do stuff on the road. You want to talk about what we got coming up next week real quick, Janae, while we at it?
Yeah,
I
like
want to touch it
we
now and then we'll touch it again after the show, right?
no, definitely. We may be some people watching now that maybe can't stay on the whole time. So
Right.
um next week is our series 3 or season 3 finale, however you want to view it, but it's the finale of this season. And we are doing it live in person with a live studio audience at Duce Lounge in Pembroke Pines. It's going down August 6th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The show taping starts at 7:30 p.m. So you want to make sure you get there. And our flyer was recently released on That Part Podcast Instagram page. And it, was also shared on my social media pages as well. And so we have some really, really dope heavy hitters to help guide this conversation on the state of the Miami music industry. We
Yeah.
got I'm talking too much. Tell them who we got, PK. This, let them know who we got.
I mean, we have some Grammy Award winners
Yes.
that we lining up for you, man. We got Ted Lucas, founder of Slip and Slide Records. We have Rico Love, writer, producer, artist, Grammy Award winner. We have local artist Bushy B. We also have
He ain't so local no more. He been going viral.
we also have home team event producers, Space Entertainment, to talk about that side of things because that's an intricate part of it as well. And I know I'm forgetting one other person, but who's we have another young lady on
No duets. Come on, represent for the ladies. Come on.
for the ladies and the Haitians. All right. So we're gonna have
Yes.
them live in studio. See, there you go, right there. We'll have them live in studio. So make sure you pull up and definitely join us for that event. It's gonna be something really special and amazing. All right, live up close and personal. Plus, Duce Lounge. It's a bar restaurant. You can eat, drink, and connect with us. Mix, network. There we go. There we go. That's the one we was looking for. Thank you so much to our amazing producer, Derica. So there you have it, man. A week from today, from 6 to 10 o'clock, join us for a live panel. That Part podcast, live up close and personal. We will be filming it as well. So check it out, all right? The filming starts at 7:30, so, doors open at 6, so it gives enough time for you to settle in and, talk and network, and then we start at 7:30. Got to be a little quiet. We're going to do our thing, and we should end promptly about 9:30 for the latest, and then we can hang out a bit after at Duce Lounge and enjoy ourselves. So there you
Definitely.
have it.
Make sure you RSVP on Eventbrite. The link is in our bio on Hilo News' page and That Part podcast page. We'll also probably have we'll have an article about this as well. So you can find the links there to RSVP. So that's the only thing. It's a free event, but in order to enter, we just kindly ask that you RSVP
Yeah.
to attend.
Yep. We want to accommodate to you. So are we ready to get things started on this show here?
Yes, we are. Yes, we
Okay.
are. This
All
is the
right.
most views we've had this season. Mr. Williams, we need to have you back every week.
you trying to get us in trouble. All right. On today's show, we are joined by a lifelong bull and chairman of the board of directors for the Miami Northwestern Alumni Association. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Larry Williams.
Hey.
All right, you gotta take us off mute. There you go. All right. There
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, sir.
Good. How's everybody doing?
We're so good, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today, all right?
No problem. My pleasure.
That's what's up. So, Janae, ladies first, you want to jump this party off?
Yes, I'm going to jump it off. And so just to, again, say thank you again, Mr. Larry Williams, for coming on. I've seen you around in the community, but this is our first time actually getting a chance to connect. So really proud and excited to have you on. And so I, was sent an interview that you did with Football Hotbed, and I was like, yo, this is the only person who's actually given a comprehensive explanation on the other side of this Miami Northwestern Teddy suspension, all of this stuff. And so I was like, we got to have him on to have a conversation. So thank you for coming on. And I'm going to kick it off with our first question, if you don't mind, Mr. Williams.
Go ahead.
So let's start from the beginning. Is it okay if I call you Larry? I'll give reverence to my elders. I saw what class you graduated from. You mentioned it in the interview. So
Yes, ma'am,
is it okay if I call you Larry?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Larry, Mr. Williams, when and how did your connection to Miami Northwestern begin?
Well, I'm a proud graduate of the class of 1974. As I stated before, after graduating from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University from the School of Business and Industry, I came back to Miami for about 2 years, and then I took my trip around the country, working in different marketplaces, learning what it was like to live in the North, learning what it was like to live in other parts of the South. And I came back to Miami in 1987. At that time, I was in the hospitality industry. And as a former track guy at Miami Northwestern, my first love was to help out the track team at that time. Calvin Jackson was the track coach. We hooked up. Of course, I've known him since elementary school.
Wow, Coach
I,
Jackson,
yeah, yeah,
really? Coach Carmen's
he
husband?
yeah, he's a little older than me, but we were all in the same building. And actually was in the class with his sister,
Wow,
Iris. So I started, just giving things back to the track program, maybe, some snacks and stuff, so that the team would have something to eat of some substance when they were at track meets and things like that. And then approximately about 1996, one of my faithful servants, Regine Lee, a good sister, big sister, along with Sharella Miller Everett, convinced me to jump in this boilerplate. At the time, I didn't know it was going to come to this, but so I served as the longest reigning president for over 21 years. In the last several years, I've been the chairman of the board of directors for the Miami Northwestern Alumni. So that's kind of how it happened, where I'm at, and this is where we are.
love it.
That's what's up. So what was it exactly that led to your role as chairman of the Alumni Association Board of Directors? Like what was instrumental in
Well,
that?
as I stated, I served about 21 years as the president.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired. I was getting ready to go. And our current chairman emeritus, Mr. Nat Spooky Miller, who is like one of the pillars that founded the Alumni Association, say, you ain't going nowhere. We're going to make you the chair. So the chair of the board of directors. So the board of directors basically is the governing body of the executive board to ensure that things stay within the protocol where we won't have any major problems. So we have a president currently, Miss Carol Brown, and her executive board. And I have board members on the board with me. And our job is just to make sure that nothing catastrophic happens. But she runs the day-to-day operations of the Miami Northwestern Alumni Association.
Got it.
That's what's up. So you're tried and true. You've been around for a minute.
Yeah, I've been beat up on quite a bit, but it's okay.
It's all good. That's a part of the work of being a service to the community, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so my question is, you recently stepped down temporarily from your position as chairman. For those who may not know, what prompted this decision?
Well, again, yeah, you're right. Temporarily, I was going overseas anyway. We were taking a family vacation, well, my wife and and I got accused of an accusation made that I was mishandling funds, things of that nature. So since they singled me out, I decided to separate. If you want to come at me, that's okay, but the alumni, we ain't gonna do this unless you involve the alumni. They call my name out. And those who know me and know how our operation works, I have no accessibility to money. I have a financial background. I finished Barry University's financial planning school. Therefore, my license that I had around the country was worth more than what we may have had in the treasury of Miami Northwestern Alumni. So there was no need for me to do that. As well as, I just think my parents raised me up to be a respectable person. So that's just not part of my protocol.
Mm. Who was the group or the people who made these accusations, and what do you think that stemmed from?
Well, the easiest way to attack a black organization is to say the people are stealing. Uh, I know emotions is high because of this controversy. I watched that young man grow up in the Northwestern family. He played for Coach Willie Goldsmith, uh, helped contribute to their championship rings. So I wish him no ill will, and those who may support that feeling. Again, as I stated multiple times, if you think I'm still in call the police, we can do this very simplistically. I got my 1099s and I'm ready to rock and roll. So everybody that knows and knows really the intricacy of how our system works, I don't even touch money. I don't have accessibility to money. We have a treasurer as well as a finance director.
So
So
it came from Teddy Bridgewater's camp that said that
I
you
don't want to mislabel nobody and say anybody's in the coach's camp. Those are, I would say, those are people that may not understand how to legislate what is going on, because this is a legislative issue. This is not an issue where we can change the laws overnight. There's some things that the state and the district has to reevaluate. As I've stated before, the Florida High School Athletic Association, which I was the representative for Solomon Stinson as well as Dorothy Bendross Mendengal for over 10 years. Uh, I've always had some problems with the way they conduct business. They are a giver, not a taker. What do I mean by that? Uh, you have two governing bodies. You have the GMAC, which is the athletic arm of Dade County Public Schools. You have the Florida High School Athletic Association, which is based out of Gainesville, Florida, control the playoffs of all sports once it gets into the playoff round. So 0 to 10, thereabout. GMAC, Greater Miami Athletic Association, governs athletics for Dade County Public Schools. Once it goes into the playoffs, then the Florida High School Athletic Association kicks in. The reason I've said that they are takers and not givers is simply because they take 25% of the gross revenue produced at a sporting event, not
wow.
net, but gross. So if you're going to operate like you, that entity, the SEC sets up benefits for their teams. The Big Ten sets up benefits for their teams. So why are you not giving us something that will help facilitate revenue for the schools that participate in your playoff for bracket? That's never done. They keep all the receipts from any streaming of the football game. They keep
Wow.
all the receipts at the gate of the football game. They keep all the receipts of all of paraphernalia. They keep all of the receipts of concession. They keep all the receipts of all the parking. Let me give you an example. So I want to say it was a POCA around 2019. We played in Daytona, Florida. Well, based on my knowledge and relationships with Bulls all around the country, I knew they were coming. And I told the leadership of the Miami-Dade County Public School that venue is not big enough.
Mhm.
Well, they didn't feel they could get it changed. So at that game, the stadium was completely full, which is 10,000 people. And probably they had to let in another 3,000 to 4,000 people around the track.
Mm.
But the schools got none of that revenue. The
What?
way they pay the schools is kind of like a mathematical formula where depending how far you have to drive to the site, they'll give you an allocation. So that's what I mean by you could lose money in the playoffs. Because Miami Northwestern is a urban core school, some of our young men and young women have never ventured out the city of Miami at this point in time. So coaches, and we've had multiple coaches who won championships at Northwestern, will make provisions with each other so that if we play on a Friday night, we may travel Wednesday night to get them early enough to get acclimated, to practice, get their legs loose, so on and so forth. So a school or a private school, say like St. Thomas, uh, if they played in Daytona that same weekend, they coming up the day of the game. They don't incur any costs. Our team, our athletic department incurs additional costs because we're trying to make that a holistic experience for the student athlete, because this could be maybe the only one. Hopefully this is not the only opportunity to leave Miami, but it could be. So we want to make it a lifelong experience, and therefore the coaching staff, the coach, the athletic director, they make plans to allow that to happen along with the leadership at the school.
Gotcha. Thank you for breaking it down.
Yeah, I want to dive into something since we're kind of like on that topic, right? And please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Larry. This is not my field of expertise. But I also, when you talked about the breakdown of the different organizations that oversee and what monies they take out and stuff like that, if the football team raises a certain amount of money, because you're allowed to raise money for a team, correct?
When you say we're allowed to raise money, in what respect? Are you talking about gate receipts or are you talking about charitable giving?
Either one. I'm just trying to understand the landscape before I say what I say.
Well, yes, you have gate receipts where you pay a fee to enter the game. That money or that receipts are digitized by a company called GoFan, and then those receipts, once it's been confirmed, they are sent to the host school. So as example, if Northwestern's playing Central, Miami Central, and we're the host school, GoFan, which is a platform that you buy your ticket from.
Yeah.
So there's no money exchanging with human hands. Once they consolidate their record, they'll send a check to Miami Northwestern's athletic department.
Great.
Miami Northwestern athletic department has to share those ticket sale amounts with Miami Central, and Miami Central gets half the receipts of the game that was generated. So once the stadium fees are paid, once the officials are paid, once football athletic budget for buses and band buses are paid for, then that money is split 50-50.
Right.
What I'm saying about I'm speaking about the Florida High School Athletic Association is, if they use a platform like GoFan, before they disperse, if there was a distribution of money at the state game, as example, there is no distribution of money. But let's say Northwestern is a host of a playoff game. Their platform, whoever collects that money, they're going to take 25%
off the
before
top.
they send it to the school, right. To pay all the bills and everything else. So that's the difference, depending on where you are in the segment of the sport.
So let me ask you this: with that money that now that the final number that the school gets, this is something that I heard that I just want to clarify. So let's just say whatever that number is, everything else is paid off. This is now what the school actually gets. I'm hearing that sometimes that money has to be split even amongst other sports.
That's standard procedure in any athletic program. So as example, football may generate 90% of the revenue for all sports, but most girls sports do not generate money, and probably 3 or 4 boys sports doesn't. So the only two sports that possibly could make money currently as I speak, definitely football, possibility of boys basketball.
Well, how is that fair, Mr. Larry?
How's that fair?
Yes, sir. In terms of the resources that the football team may need as we get more into the situation like with Mr. Teddy Bridgewater, where how is that fair that that money that is being generated by that sport has to be shared, and how much of it is being shared with these other sports versus what they need to get for their sport that people are actually
Well,
coming out to support.
good question. There's a thing called Title IX. Title IX is a federal mandate from the government that says if you have 5 boys sports, you better have 5 girls sports. Now, that is mandated by the federal government because these school districts get federal funding and there's a relationship there, and some of the funding requires certain things that must be met. So like girls track, girls volleyball, girls softball. Now we even had girls uh, cheerleading is now sport. We have the regular cheerleaders that cheer during football games, but then there's a competition. Well, that sport cost was put on the budget of the schools, but there was no revenue that came with that budget. So we have flag football that went to maybe the quarterfinals this past year. We ended up playing in West Palm Beach. Athletic department has to pay for that travel. No money's going to be made. You still got to have uniforms. So unfortunately, that's the way it is, because if you base it solely on revenue, those sports are not going to generate enough revenue to
Gotcha.
fund that activity. So that's mandated by Title IX.
And thank you for taking the time to explain that, because I think that's a part of a lot of the problem for people who are not in it. For people who don't really wrap their head
Sure, no
around how it
problem.
works, it just
Right.
seems like an unfair type situation. But thanks for taking the time to explain that.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
and even to your point, Mr. Williams, that's how it works in college as well. Like the football team in college generates most of the funding that helps support other sports as well. So it's kind of like working in that same way as well on the local level. I think the thing that the community may not be understanding is how this works. And somebody said it in the comments. LeVar Livingston said, unfortunately, individuals in that world don't understand it, or people who are watching high school sports. So then you have these conversations of this person is taking money or this person is stealing this, when they don't understand that this is how the money has to be broken out per law. That has nothing to do with the person who may be in leadership at a school or over alumni association. This is just what the law says they have to do, and they're working within those rules and regulations. And honestly, this brings me to my question of athletic director Andre Williams and a principal is it Puka, if I'm saying his
Puka,
name
Mr.
correctly,
Puka.
Mr. Puka. He hasn't been, Mr. Principal Puka hasn't been dragged as athletic director has, but you've been one of the few people who have, like, I wouldn't say defend, but you've explained the character of the athletic director, Andre Williams. In full transparency, I actually went to Carroll City and Northwestern, and Mr. Williams was my athletic director when I was at Carroll City. So I know him in a way from like his administrative work as well. Can you speak to Mr. Williams, Andre Williams' character, and some of the things that you shared about what people are saying about him, and when it comes to mismanaging or stealing money? Like, what are your views on that? What do you want people to know about athletic director Williams?
Well, first of all, if anybody know his mother, Sally Bradshaw Williams, she get out her grave and beat Andre. She thought he was stealing money. That's the kind of legacy he came from, first of all. So I give you an inside story. A lot of people don't know this. I guess one day when he was at Northwestern, he decided he was going to skip school. He got caught by the legendary John Peavy. See, when we went to Northwestern, we self-govern ourselves. What does that mean? That means the upperclassmen told us what to do. And we were the only high school probably at that time had one assistant principal, Mr. John Peavy. He was legendary. And you had two choices: do it his way, or you leave Northwestern. So, being that his mother was a teacher who's taught a lot of people in this community, I guess the devil is in all of us. He tried to school one day with some friends, and of course, Mr. Peavy was at the right place at the right time. Brought him in the office and said, "Listen, I'm gonna give you this board, or I'm gonna call your mama." Andre took the board. So what I'm saying is, she was the director of finance for this alumni association. She helped nurture and develop my growth as a young administrator. I only had one harsh conversation with her, and I made sure I never messed up again in life. She's touched a lot of people's spirit around this town. Andre, as you stated, has been at Carroll City. He started his pilgrimage at Miami Edison.
Mhm.
And I feel bad because I talked him into coming to Northwestern. When we had an opening, I advocated for him. And because he's a bull, most of his family is a bull, it's an honor. He knew the legendary Lee Perry, who was our athletic director for a multitude of years. He played under that man. So he understood the heritage of the athletic director. Unfortunately, some people have made some accusations, and this probably goes back maybe even 3 years. And yet, no principal, multitude of assistant principals, treasurers, business managers, nobody will confirm what these people are saying. Downtown has heard it. You think downtown ain't heard the chatter by now? They do their annual audits. They have never heard, or they haven't seen anything would give them a red flag. So let's do this with clean hands. We understand a lot of people want Teddy back, and I don't disparage that. But let's not do it at the expense of us throwing a bull under the bus to try to make it look like what it isn't. I have no intention of throwing Coach Bridgewater under the bus. He's a bull. What I try to explain to people is, as I said before, when I was in school, when the class bell rung, seniors sweep the hallway. Mr. Peavy didn't have to do a lot of work. When the seniors say go to class, you go to class. That was the discipline and respect we had for one another at Miami Northwestern. We self-govern ourselves. So to think that a man of his pedigree would be stealing and nobody's brought no facts, the district ain't doing no inquiry other than their standard audit every year. And the audit's supposed to be random. Mr. Williams has been audited every year for 23 years. This falls out the 24th year. And some people just don't believe grease is hot. That's all I can tell you.
I mean, and just to play devil's advocate, some of the chatter that I've been hearing in the community is the reason why athletic director Williams has been able to, I guess, get away with this allegedly is because of his connection or relation to school board member Dorothy Ben Dross Mendengar. What do you say to those accusations?
Well, that's his godmother. Don't dispute that. But as a public servant, she would be crazy to fudge something for him. And from where she sits, because you remember she's one of the superintendent's boss. So what's she gonna do? Go tell the superintendent my godson's stealing, give him a break? Come on now, we know how politics work. If she said anything close to that, anybody that wanted that seat, if the superintendent wanted her out of that seat, he gonna drop that birdie. So he's not being protected in any way whatsoever. I just said he's been audited every year. So you name me one athletic director in Dade County Public Schools that's been audited every year. And I would say it wouldn't be more than 50% of the ADs in the system. It just doesn't happen like that. It's supposed to be random, but he's audited every year. He was audited at Carroll City. He was audited at Edison, and definitely gonna get audited at Northwestern. So I get it. You want to connect the dots, but I don't think the board member would throw away her career, her political career, for something. This man has 32 years in the system. He don't need the money. He could retire tonight. So make it make sense. Those are emotional things that are being said because of the coaching situation. And it's been perceived by many, well, many may be a stretch, but a few that think that he's creating this problem for Teddy Bridgewater. And that's not accurate.
Talking about that, following Teddy's suspension, the community has stepped to Miami Northwestern to protest the school's decision. Where does that leave the school's relationship with the alumni, the parents, and the current students?
Well, first of all, I should take this second out to send my condolences out to Mr. Puka. His mother just transitioned, and we'll be funeralizing her on Saturday. Mr. Puka is a gentleman I knew before he came into the school system. And people like Dr. Gallen, myself, tried to advocate for him to get in the system. Once he got in the system, he's been a great leader. He was at Northwestern 5 to 6 years before he even took over the leadership of Northwestern. So he's going to follow the policy. And that's what a lot of people are upset about. He's doing what needs to be done at this moment. This is a moving issue, meaning that what I say today about certain things could change tomorrow, because there are some requirements that needs to be met that may be already in the process. So what I say tonight may change in the morning. So that's why the sensitivity is the way it is.
What are some of the requirements that you know of?
Well, you have to fill out an application with Dade County Public Schools. You can come in two ways as a coach. You can be hired as a teacher, and that's you're required during football season to teach at least 3 classes. And then football is a supplement. That supplement only pays about $5,000. Now, let me put it in perspective for you. When Coach Bridgewater was the coach last year, he probably put in 10 months working with the student athletes with football. You got spring practice, all-season conditioning, weight training. So he put in a lot of time. However, the next step is, or you come in as a contractual coach. That's what Coach Bridgewater chose to do, because he's a degreed person. Let me make that clear. Based on what I know, he's a degreed person. So he could have came in as a teacher. He didn't want to do that. And the option was, okay, we got to do contractual coach. What's the difference? Contractual coach basically comes in at a designated time that was agreed upon by the leadership of the school and the head coach. See, at Northwestern, we have other coaches in the building to facilitate discipline, so he don't have to be there all day. In the old school way, coaches was in the building primarily as probably the second or third disciplinarian in the school. So it still requires a Dade County school application and fingerprints, which have to have a background check, because of the Justice for Lungford Act. That's a state law. Justice for Lungford Act applies to me. I'm in the financial service business, and I'm kind of semi-retired, but I've done work the last 3 years up in Duval County. I had to be fingerprinted, checked by them before I could go in and conduct business with a teacher in any one of Duval County schools. Now, the reason I don't fear is because I've been cleared at the federal level, because I used to do a lot of work dealing with unions with different airlines. So I flew all around the country. I had clearance to stand right by a 747 without nobody by me. So that's the intensity of the background check I've had done on me. So I understand that protocol that's required. If you don't do that, you put the district and the school at risk. Unfortunately, nobody's made no allegations. If something happens to a student by any coach or teacher and they don't have a background check, well, every lawyer in America wants that case because this is a no-brainer. So that's why that's done. And then you got some coaching requirements that needs to be met as well.
And so you're, just for clarity for people who may not understand like the inside baseball, Coach Bridgewater has not completed this process, the official paperwork and the courses for coaching while he's been at Miami Northwestern as the head football coach.
So that's a two-part question. Did he do it during the time that he served physically around the children? No, it didn't get completed. However, I'm just going to say I think the process is getting fixed. And I'll leave it at that because all dots are not dotted and all T's are not crossed, but the process is being looked at and being adjudicated as I speak.
That's dope. To me, the thing that was so interesting about what Teddy has brought light to and made national news. He made that Facebook post about all of the contributions financially and physically, spiritually, emotionally that he's given to these kids. It shed a light on what is needed in our urban core schools. And thank you so much for your explanations on how like the money works and how things are dispersed, because I know like the principal and AD Williams can't come and speak and as candidly as you can. So you're giving some people some information on how like the system work, especially with your extensive experience and work in our community. And the thing that Teddy brought to light to me that was so interesting and has been a conversation for, to me, decades, even so much so that school board member Dr. Gallen proposed that Miami-Dade schools break apart from the Florida High School Athletic Association. And he talked about some of the disparities when it came to games and playoffs and the money and the revenue. And then you see like the rules that people said that, Teddy, broke. And I say air quote because he wasn't morally wrong. It was just the rules. Like, and a thing that came up was like the Uber rides and different things that he's done to help kids. And if you're a coach and you're working with kids, you're going to do these things. I think he brought light to the fact that our schools, urban core schools, need extra attention. We need extra resources. Our coaches, our volunteers have to do more to make sure that our student athletes have a well-rounded experience. It's happened with me. I was an athlete as well. I ran track at Carroll City Northwestern. People helped me get rides and food and shoes when my mom couldn't do that. She's a single mother of 4. And so I would like to know, just from your experience, Mr. Williams, especially being around this in so many different ways, what are your views on the Florida High School Athletic Association when it comes around things like rides or helping out a kid? And do you think that the solution is that these rules need to be changed, or do Miami-Dade County schools need to break apart and start a new athletic association so that we can address the needs of students that attend the Miami Northwestern?
Good question. I'm an advocate of leaving the Florida High School Athletic Association simply because, as I say, they take, they don't give. If you're going to be a governing body, then what you gonna bring to the table other than take revenue from the schools? Because what those people sit up in Gameville and make over $100,000 a year and come up with very antiquated policies. So yes, I'm not opposed to that decision, that thing, and Dr. Gall and I stay in touch quite frequently. As you know, I'm currently serving on his ABC Boundary Committee, which represents Carroll City in that districting. So here's what a conglomerate called I Care has done. So, and I'm gonna make sure I got an apology to make, because I got beat up after the meeting, and I don't like that. My dear friends, let me apologize first of all to Miami Jackson High School. There was no ill will brought against you all, but I misspoke when I spoke the other night and did not include them in I Care. So I Care stands for Inner City Alumni for Responsible Education. So you have Carroll City. Let me make sure I get it right this time. Carroll City, Norland, Central, Jackson, Edison, Northwestern, and Booker T. Hopefully I can sleep tonight. So what we did, this is probably 6 or 7 years ago. I Care went to the current superintendent, Mr. Caballo, and we brought to him a license and branding concept, because schools were getting raped by street vendors, people. I found websites as far west as Seattle, Washington, right on the border, are selling Northwestern's paraphernalia, meaning that they wouldn't necessarily say Northwestern, but the illusion is there. So we got tired of being raped, because we understand the value of paraphernalia, licensed selling. So the school board adopted licensing and branding. So currently, under the licensing branding, I guess I would call him the guru, Mr. Daryl Hosendorf, we set up a network that will stream our games, and eventually revenue will be given to the schools from that. Northwestern and about 4 other schools are federally licensed. The bull that you see the young men run out with that helmet on their helmet, that's a federally trademarked bull. A lot of people will try to get around it because Northwestern has been victimized by a lot of street vendors where they sell paraphernalia, no money goes back to the school. So people like me who are trying to get the community to understand, if you buy from a licensed vendor, then that money is automatically sent downtown, and then the downtown sends their portion back to the school. So that's one avenue is a game changer. I don't want to say too much, but on August 13th, there will be a press conference. Adidas Sports now represents the whole district of Dade County. Within that, we have what is called a Super 7 teams. We have, I don't want to get into teams because I may miss somebody get mad at me, but there's called a Super 7. Those are teams that will be playing potentially on national platforms. As example, for the first time in history, Miami Northwestern will be playing a team out of California. I want to say it's Orange Lutheran. That game will be sponsored by Nike. Those schools have customized jerseys, and the difference is they're going to clothe all sports. So to give me an example, at Miami Northwestern, we were a Nike school. only two sports was really Nike schools. Football program, girls track. Now, all the other sports, Mr. Williams had to buy uniforms for. As a female athlete, you understand. If you left your bottoms, you can't give it to the next young lady because of sanitary purposes. So every year that he loses a female athlete, he can't say that uniform. So girls sports have to be basically new outfits have to be bought almost every year, depending on how many seniors you got. So those are things that people don't understand and take under consideration. So you just can't say football makes all the money and all the money go to football. It just ain't gonna happen. The superintendent, Mr. Doches, I'm quite sure we get a phone call. That ain't gonna happen. But we've been legislating and advocating for the schools so that it would get better. We realize our value, and we want the school to get the money. So if the money goes to the school district and then they send it to the individual schools, I'm good with that. But the fact of the matter is some of the things that Mr. Bridgewater cited, we trying to alleviate that pressure off him or any other coach. As well, we've had a booster club since 1996 that behind the scenes has done a lot of those things that coaches talked about on a public platform. So we're trying behind the scenes to do a lot of different things through iCare, the Alumni Association, to advocate these things. Let me give you an example. Recently, I want to say Beaufort County, Georgia. Do you realize they just built a $62 million stadium? $62 million stadium. Here we are in Dade County, the third largest school district in America. Dade County only owns one stadium in the Metro Dade area. So when you're trying to schedule football games for about 36 teams and you only got one stadium, period, you have to rent the others. It becomes a scheduling problem. Some nights, high school football is played on a Wednesday. It's just not enough facilities. The forefathers of Dade County athletics and board wasn't as wise as Broward County, as an example. You can go up to Broward County and most of their schools have some form of a stadium on their campus. Now, when they have big games, then they have to move. But if they have a game where it's not going to draw a lot of people, then they can play on campus. We don't have that nowhere in Dade County. So that's what I say. The whole state is antiquated. The whole state say they care about children, but athletics is one of the number one dropout preventions in Dade County schools, especially in our community. That's why for years and years and years, Northwestern had a no cut clause on a football team. You show up, you come to practice every day, you on the team. You may be as sorry as Larry Williams, but you get a chance to stay on that team because we knew where you were, and the idle mind is a devil workhouse. So a workplace. So we have those kind of things in play because we want to nurture those young men. We want to nurture. We expanded the cheerleading and the band because why? We want to know where those young people are. We want to keep them active. Don't let them go home and got nothing to do. They're bored. They don't really have great park systems here in Dade County. See, there is no conversation piece between the county and the school system. So they are not really talking about how can they help make education better from a county perspective. I don't know if that's an ego or what, but in other cities, I give you an example, in, let's say, Vero Beach. at a Vero Beach High School game, their sheriff department comes to the games. There's no fee to the school. When a school like Northwestern plays Miami Central, you allocated 50 police at an average cost of anywhere from $300 to $400 per police officer. That's got to come out their school budget.
Wow.
So there's a lack of communication. County, school board, state, it all needs to be rectified. Broward County rules are not the same as Dade County rules as far as hiring a coach. Everybody do that. It's a free fall. We playing football in 2025 and we still have 1960s
rules
policies. And,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what the problem is.
And you explained that very well, and thank you. Ultimately, what a lot of people are trying to understand, and hopefully you could give a little bit more insight on it, is there, and you kind of mentioned it, but I just want to, from your perspective, is there and what is the path forward for Teddy's return or reinstatement?
Well, again, I don't want to speak on the behalf of the school board. Based on what I know, the motion has been set for him to meet the requirements from the application, the fingerprint, and everything. That's what I understand it to be. So that's why I say it's fluid. What I say today might not resonate in the morning because things are moving. Once that is done, it's up to the school to make their decision on what they want to do because he's eligible to be hired as a coach. Now, here's the other side of that, too. The school board now will start looking at everything with a magnifying glass because of this. And I don't blame them. Every sport will be audited to the highest level by the school district, right? So you could be our soccer coach. We got a good soccer coach at Northwestern. If he ain't meeting that requirement, he got to go. But he ain't as popular as Coach Bridgewater, so the school may not rally around him like they rally around Coach Bridgewater. But the intentions are the same. So there's going to be a lot of changes made this coming fall, which is already here, but even moving forward, because I'm quite sure the legislation in my conversations with State Rep, Wallace Aristide, there's going to be some changes made. So there's a lot of good to come out of this, but there's going to be some people that gets the hatchet because of this too. And I got to be transparent on both sides.
Well, with that being said, was my concern because could this now affect Luke, who has really nothing to do with this, but can this now?
Oh no, Luke's good. Luke was really scrutinized because of what he did as an entertainer. Mm-hmm. There was a gentleman that had a personal grudge against Luke, and he tried to do everything he could to keep Luke from getting his certification done. But people stepped up for Luke, and the rest is his. No, Luke is good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I was saying, with all of this, I would hate to see, this now, affect things that are in place that are doing good, just like Teddy was doing good for that school. I would hate to see it because sometimes when these things, like you said, when they blow up things, sometimes they blow up the wrong stuff. You know what I mean?
It's collateral damage in anything
collateral
you
damage,
do.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared for that. All schools, who knows? It may become a shortage of coaches. And this is another thing. As I stated earlier, we pay the head coach of football a $5,000 supplement. Not that Teddy needs the money. Teddy can go right across the border into Georgia, and the minimum he gonna get paid is $100,000 a year. Really? And he does nothing but coaching. You can find that in Georgia. You can find that in Alabama. You can find that in Mississippi, and you definitely can find it in Texas and California. We're the fourth largest state in the union, but we only giving the head football coach a supplement of about $5,000. So you know what the assistants getting? Gravy. These guys are out there, like I said, this is almost a 10-month, a year job. They getting paid minimum wage. It's not even minimum wage. But here's the problem. Because most of the coaches had been teachers before, the Dade County Union stands in the way of them trying to separate and get more money for the coaches in Dade County. So the union, again, remember, I've said this numerous times, the dominant society legislates us into poverty. I'm going to say it again.
That part.
The dominant society legislates us into to a lower level economically. What does that mean? See how we're using all this energy to protest, but if I said, let's go to Gainesville, you get very few takers. Let's go to Tallahassee, you get very few takers. So they know our personality. They know, oh, they're going to argue for a few minutes. This will blow over. No, you got to stay 10 toes down. So there needs to be a sweeping legislative change for how the union holds coaches from making money. Because in the new era, with NIL coming, that's a whole nother gamut that schools got to adjust to, is the NIL. It's going to be making the schools more money. It's going to happen. Mr. Bridgewater or any other coach, because all coaches to some degree have helped a student athlete. My coach, Louis Bing, was one of the greatest coaches in the state of Florida. We have a track tournament named after
Louis
him.
Bing Invitational, yeah.
Right, the largest track meet in the state of Florida. We have to understand that even when he was in school, if I asked for a quarter, he'd give it to me. Was he violating? No, I may need a drink. That's called humanity. Teddy was doing humanity. The problem is you got to do the paperwork to ensure the school has no liability. This is where we are. It's really a simple fix until we get better legislation change. We got to roll with what it is right now and continue to advocate to get this stuff changed. So by no ill will has Teddy did something that no other coach as Miami Northwestern has done. However, platforms make a difference. He's the same age as my youngest child, my youngest son, right? I kind of understand, right? You know, I don't do social media because I'm just not that important. It's something I could do if I really want to learn that trademark, but what I'm not that important. That's how those people communicate to one another. I get that, but sometimes it's better to hold your cards to your chest and stay quiet than to put them out there in the public for people to see. And of course, being who he is, everybody wants to make money off him. Every time he posts somebody, I guess they cut it up, dice it up, and they put it on their platform, and they trying to get looks and like because they use his imaging to fund their space, and they making money off him. So people are spreading this to make money off Coach. They ain't doing it because if he was me, if I was the head coach, it wouldn't even hit national news. Every time he sends something out, man, it's sent out and it's around the world for you know it. And I'm not saying he did it intentionally because his actions are honorable, but you put the school in a bad light. You can't get around that. Now there's investigation going on.
And someone may ask a good question in the comments. Anna Taylor, she asks, can you talk about the importance of working through the booster clubs for fundraising? Is it a risk mitigation strategy?
No, because the booster clubs are audited by Dade County Public Schools. The booster club is a quasi school board organization. Why was the Booster Club created? It was created under Dr. Gallen around 1996, 97, in that range. Why? Because it keeps a lot of audit exceptions off the athletic department.
So it
See,
is a risk
to
mitigation
be an
strategy.
organization like that, you must have solicitation license. You get audited by the school system if they want, right? So it's a 501c3 organization. You get your tax deduction, and you can be a member and say, "Oh, if y'all stealing, let me come clean house." It's not a exclusive club. It's open to the public. We prefer parents run it because who gonna love their child better than them? So, a lot of times people have this illusion Northwestern got this blank check. We work hard to raise money for Northwestern, whether it's the Booster Club or the Alumni. So, yes, if I was asked by anyone, where would you send your money? You send it to the Booster Club, because that way, anybody hands dirty is on the school at that point in time.
So you're saying, because to Anna's point, you are saying like it's a way as a risk mitigation, or like protects the school, so to speak, if things go through the Booster Club.
Well, based on what I understand, you cannot solicit funds for Dade County School without their consent. So the Booster Club is an approved organization that can do that.
Gotcha.
Right? It's just like anything else. If you're using logos of schools, or you mentioning schools or people tied to the school, there has to be a check and balance. And that's why the Booster Club was created. So now the Booster Club doesn't dictate how much money coach can spend. So if somebody donates $1,000 to football, then all that money goes to football. The AD, the principal, nobody else can reallocate that money. So if you want the money to go to football, you put it in the notes department with a letter of donation. You got to have your donation letter, because if the school is audited, let me give you an example. The coach prior to Coach Bridgewater, he came to alumni meeting. He had an Amazon list of what he wanted. All that stuff was ordered, okay, sent to the Booster Club, and the Booster Club gave a donation letter to the school. Because what happens is, if the school walks into your locker room and you got a refrigerator in there that was given with good intent to the school, but they ain't got they don't have a letter of donation, that's an audit for the principal, because that's a property that's in your building. We don't know how it got there. So that's why we advocate. Give you an example. We've gotten the school painted, first time since 1996. New track. First time we got a track, they really kind of snowballers on that, so we was a little more thorough the second time around. We got both locker rooms, females and males, redone. We got a set of washers and dryers, advocated for athletics. We got a boiler for dry cleaning, so that students can practice dry cleaning in the school. We have the culinary arts blue and gold room, new equipment for that. And recently, we went downtown as eye care, because we had gotten wind that two schools that wasn't as high profile in athletics as Northwestern and Central were getting football turfs. Now, the superintendent was very gracious and understood our concerns, but coming this fall, I've been told sometime around September, we'll be getting a new turf at Miami Northwestern. Central will be getting a new turf at Miami Northwestern. So we got a lot of things done, but when you advocate and you have to deal with the bureaucracy of the school district, man, you can stay on one subject sometimes 3 or 4 months. It's not a business deal. You don't go down there and just like y'all sent me an invitation. It's simple. You sent me an invitation. I accepted it. We good. Bureaucracy don't work like that. Because the superintendent, he got to understand there's politics in everything, right? I've earned my credibility. For over 30 years, I've earned my credibility. No one in the school system can ever say, Larry Williams asked for a side deal. I stand on that. When Dr. Steve Gallen got elected, I was one of the first people he appointed because he knows my credibility and he know I ain't gonna eat no cheese. Now, when he was a younger lion and I was a younger lion, we bumped heads. But what we grew together and what we learned is it's about your policies, not you personally. So we can disagree and still maintain the friendship. When he was in New Jersey, as the superintendent in New Jersey, and I be working in that region, Dr. Gallen and I used to have dinner together all the time. That's my guy. He a bull rat. Like I said, to be a bull, we always challenge one another. That's what makes us great. So we are working and doing our due diligence. As I say, I think the Coach Bridgewater situation is fluid. I'm getting good vibes about what's happening. I won't say more than that because I don't want to rock the vote either way. But once that is done, then that is in the leadership of Miami Northwestern or any other school. Because now he can go to any school he wants to because he's met the school board requirements. So that's on him whether he wants to stay with his Bulls or he want to go to another school, which I don't think he does. Him and Mr. Puka and whoever else needs to sit down and make a decision on where they go from there because technically he can't be the coach right now because of that paperwork.
Mr. Williams, and I know we're going to wrap up soon. I want to switch gears a little bit to academics. And so you said recently in an interview, and you mentioned about protesting and said that it was in this, and I'm not quoting you directly, but it was almost like the energy that was put into Teddy's suspension wasn't put into the C grade that Miami Northwestern received overall when other urban core schools got A's and B's. Could you speak to the importance or any work being done behind the scenes to rally the alumni to care as much about academics as they do sports? Because we see there's a disparity. We know Teddy's a great coach. They went to state his first year. Like Northwestern gonna be bomb when it comes to sports, but we need to have that same energy when it comes to academics. I would love to know your thoughts on that and anything that's being done to help rally the community behind those things as well.
Yeah, so again, let me apologize to Miami Jackson Senior High School Generals. I misspoke. They were the first urban core school to receive an A. We were 2 years thereafter. As you noticed, I was hesitant in my mind to make a number because I really wasn't sure, and I prefer speaking facts, but I misspoke. I owe them an apology. Congratulations to them for being the first. We were second. But with all the federal funding slashes and things that are currently being looked at and frozen money and things of that magnitude, academic performance is what's going to save the school. If the governor has to make a decision about shutting down the school, or he makes a recommendation to the superintendent via the Department of Education, you best believe academics is going to be the number one reason. They wouldn't care if Northwestern won the next 20 state championships in a row. It's about that academic piece. So, Mr. Puka, as I said, 1 percentage point, he missed by I'm sure, like most good leaders, you come in the first year, you assess where the strengths and weaknesses are of the school, and then you go find your people. So there could be changes in certain areas that need to be changed to make sure that doesn't happen again. But I'm 10 toes down with Mr. Puka. I have full confidence he'll turn it around. We won't have that problem again. So you got to have the academic piece before you can even worry about sports, because we've watched a lot of schools dwindle in their enrollment for a multitude of reasons. Some of it academically, some of it athletically. So we know who those schools are, and I sit on the ABC Boundary Committee to try to ensure that those schools get a fair share. That's what we do on the ABC Boundary Committee. So it is a very important job, and I appreciate Dr. Gallen letting me serve as his representative for the number of years I've had the opportunity to do that.
Thank you. PK, you got a question?
No, I know you had one more after this one, so you could go ahead and we could wrap it up, man.
Sorry. I mean, I guess that's the bull part of me. I'm really into this conversation, but something that you mentioned in other interviews is the class of 1974's I think $50,000 donation to the school and establishing an endowment. Can you speak to the importance of giving back to the school and give us some more details on what that endowment will mean for Miami Northwestern students?
Well, okay, so that was our golden anniversary, our 50th year graduating from Miami Northwestern, and I want to take my hats off to my classmates that led this great journey. I was kind of like just the advisor to ensure that there was no conflict with me being the chairman and sitting on that board. But when they thought they needed my expertise, they will allow me to chime in. But James Spann is our president, and he had put together a good team. We raised $50,000 in scholarship money, and we gave it to Dr. Tate last year. She came to our banquet. We set a endowment up at Miami-Dade College, named after the baseball coach at that time, Coach Dunkel, and along with his family, we will keep this. I think it's about $25,000 or $50,000. I think that's raising for a student from Northwestern can go there and get that scholarship money as well. So we challenge other classes. I've heard some comments, they are better. Put your money where your mouth at. Don't talk about it, be about it. So we're real proud of that. And we've made it a legacy for Coach because he was very instrumental. I'm just going to drop this nugget. Coach Dunkel coached one of the biggest, largest African-American accounting firms in Dade County, and Anthony Brunson. Anthony Brunson, who played football at Jackson State, my classmate, was coached by Coach Dunkel. Him, James Spann, Xavier Presley, all those guys love Coach without a shadow of a doubt. And because of their perseverance to get that done, that is shows the homage of him and the respectability of him. I mean, and for the backdrop, the peel of the onion back, Coach was a white coach in the 70s at Miami Northwestern when racial tensions may have been a little uncomfortable at that time because integration was just really starting, and he had to come from maybe a country club environment to deal with underprivileged and underfunding economic children in the community, and he fell in love with us. So if people have an open mind, then color don't make a difference. But if you see color first, you're gonna have a problem. I give examples. So my Hispanic Bulls. Love them to death. We just got to continue to work with them and get that pride all the way up. But we're going to do a cultural art day this year. We've already cleared it with Mr. Puka. Every nationality will come and celebrate their nationality under one umbrella. They still Bulls, but we're going to celebrate and learn your culture, the Haitian community, the whole 9 yards. All that's going to be done. Because we Bulls, so that's the way we roll. Wherever we roam, we call this home, Northwestern. We roam in groups. You very seldom see a bunch of Bulls not roaming together unless there's not enough cows around.
Oh man,
this was a great conversation. I think we broke a record with our live views. The comments were crazy and going, and I love the engagement. Shout out to all the Bulls in the comments. Y'all put some blue and gold in the comments for us to show y'all love for Miami Northwestern. And thank you, Mr. Williams, for just breaking this down. I saw some people asking how to donate. So I don't know if there's ways to donate to the Booster Club or the Alumni Association.
Yeah,
but
hold on a second here. I'm antiquated. I have to look at it. I got so much stuff on my plate. We just started a new Booster Club, and hold on. Maybe someone can put it in the chat. I think it's the DA West Boosters with an S Club .inc and at gmail.com. And you can send your donation right there. And you can definitely write it off as a tax deduction. And that's correct. At gmail.com.
Shout out to our show producer, Derica.
Yeah, Derica, I don't think there's a dot in there. Is there a dot ink?
He said dot.
Okay, well, maybe it's not. Maybe the ink the dot ink is out. Yeah, take the dot out of the ink.
Okay,
my apologies.
Derica, Karen Jackson put a comment in, so let's put that in there. You could copy that.
Yeah, so let me just say this. This young generation keeps the old lion moving. I was anti-social media, but we put together a great social media team. Northwestern will be launching on August 1st. It's Miami Northwestern Network. So we'll be doing extensive interviews, probably some sports clips, and all donations are all, once we get to that level of monetization, goes back to the school that way. So when you see our first drop of an interview, please like, subscribe. I guess I got it right. They'll let me know in a few minutes, because if I got it wrong, they're going to be on me. But I love them. And I want to say this about people who think we may be stealing, if I could just have this 30 seconds. As I stated before, we have the most diverse executive board and board of directors in the history of Miami Northwestern. Our school opened up in 55, fall of 55, and nobody's better at writing that history than Dr. George Kuntz, who was probably the second longest tenured principal at Miami Northwestern. We have former police officers. We have former educators. On that board, we have former finance people. So we have people from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and currently the 2000s. And, we're trying to be as diverse as possible. And we want to teach these young bulls, it's about advocating. Party is great. You can party. But if you want to make a change at your school, you got to go down to the school board meetings. You got to get involved with some of the board members, different committees, so you know what's going on. We earn our respect because we sat on those committees. So we knew what the inside was, and we've done it for a long time. Cherry Meredith was the first person, along with Cleveland Morley and Sally Williams, to advocate for changing the boundaries at Northwestern. Without that move politically, Northwestern may not even exist today. That's how important the Alumni Association is. Without that one move, we may not be here today because they were trying to close Northwestern down. No different from all the other historical black high schools in Miami-Dade County. You know, the proof is in the pudding. The only one that came back after being demoted was Booker T. Dorsey, North Dade, Carver, and Mays all pushed down to a middle school. Never got that opportunity to come back. So we're the longest reigning historical black high school, celebrating our 70th anniversary this fall.
That's what's up.
And may I say one other thing? I'm sorry.
Oh, look.
The floor is clearly yours, sir.
The second principal of Miami Northwestern, Mr. Combs, his grandnephew serves on our board of directors. His mother and father went to school with us. So I'm like his second daddy because I'm walking around with the mama and the daddy. So I knew both of them when he was way up in the womb, right? So we having a 40 for 40 event. That's where we're going to recognize 40 alumni under the age of 40 with the goal to raise $40,000 for Miami Northwestern. He's done a remarkable job with that event. So you can go on our web page, our Facebook, and follow us on that. And I'm going to shut up now because I may say too much. Thank you.
Look, Mr. Williams, y'all talking about launching a network and pages. This is what we do. We need to connect offline on how we could collab with the Bull Network.
Because I don't want to upset my compadres up in Atlanta, Georgia. We just launched a chapter in Atlanta, the Metro Atlanta, Miami Northwestern chapter, led by Robin Mims. I don't want to make you old, Robin. I want to say 87, 88. She around there. Also a Grambling Tiger graduate as well. So we doing things up there to help fund and support Miami Northwestern. So we got a lot of good things going. And finally, since I'm telling, we've been legislating, trying to get a specialty tag. It got through the Senate. However, because of some politics that's out of our control, that bill was not brought before the House side. It may have to start over again, but we asking all Bulls and everybody that understands, you may not be first, but that doesn't mean you won't get an opportunity. So support us because it sets the way. We're the first high school in the state of Florida has ever petitioned the government for a specialty tag. So when we get that specialty tag, that's Coach Bridgewater will never have a problem again, or any other coach, all sports, because we want to make sure that Title IX is never an issue for us because we'll take care of ourselves. You know, they always tell us to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps. Well, that's what Miami Northwestern alumni is doing. We picking this community up. We picking up the nation by our bootstraps because we got top tier brains that graduated from Miami Northwestern. So again, that's why we challenge each other. We ain't scared to show a little anger toward one another, but don't you jump in that fight. So thank you again. I think I've said enough, and I appreciate this opportunity to meet both of you all and continue success with your podcast and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. Appreciate your time.
Larry Williams.
Wealth of knowledge. You well informed the audience. For a person who had, not much knowledge of a lot of the things you discussed, I feel now that I'm running with the Bulls now, so to speak.
Yeah, appreciate it. No, don't run from it. Now we'll get you a shirt and get you on the sideline. Now once you drink that Kool-Aid, don't get mad. Because once you become a Bull, boy, it's hard to drain that blood out your body. So be careful what you ask for.
That's what's up.
Look, Mr. Williams, we got to talk offline. I really want to learn more about what you guys are doing communications wise and the TV. So we'll talk offline.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Man, the
Oh
comments are
man,
on fire.
fire for real.
People
Oh
were
man.
loving this conversation, but he broke it down.
Yeah, and it was needed, and I think that's what we want people to understand because I love the fact people are scared shitless about us. Once we get involved with a topic or a situation, people kind of shiver in their boots. But as you get to tap in with the podcast we have here, you understand it's really just to inform y'all. We're not here to crap on nobody. We ain't here to
Exactly.
be gossipy and goofy with it. We here to hit with the right questions. Obviously I came into this as a fan of Teddy Bridgewater and wanted to make sure, look, what happened to my boy? You know what I mean? But I wanted to hear what he had to say. You know what I mean? And give him an opportunity to explain things and ask a few questions just from a common sense point of view and get those answers to you. So, and again, this is what we are really trying to stress with what we're doing here, not only with that podcast, but even with High Low News itself. It's just so much information, right? It can be
Yeah.
overwhelming. And when you got a full day of work, you got to deal with the kids, you got bills, you got stresses, all these things coming at you. You just sometimes want to be able to tap into a source that can really kind of cut out the fat, say things how they need to be said, and kind of get to it. And that's why I fell in love with High Low News. And then this carried us over now to say, hey, let's take it to this podcast space and do what you're doing with that and talk about politics and on this platform. So we really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody tapping in.
Yeah.
Kivanta, what's up? Thank you.
What's
I mean,
up, Kevonda?
don't let
I
this
think
be
I
the
know you,
last time.
Kevonda.
Continue
Yes.
to tap in with us, man. We family here. Our family is in here, so anybody in here is family. Mr. Quincy, thank you so much. We appreciate your support
That's
as well.
Pastor Cohen.
Mhm.
He's a true bull. I knew he was gonna pull up probably. But I appreciated the bulls. I also shared this in like a couple of our alumni pages. I mean, y'all
Nice.
know I don't claim it, but y'all know I'm a bull alumni, so I'm in the groups. As well. And so I'm glad that the support and the views and people came over. And then also too, just like you said, full transparency, we actually reached out to Teddy, Coach Teddy Bridgewater, to
Yeah.
come onto the show to be able to share his side. That fell through. And when I saw the football hotbed interview, I was like, oh, this would be dope to have just, this a way for us to have this conversation, also
Yeah.
to present a different side of the narrative. So I'm really gracious. He wasn't scared. And somebody
Mhm.
recommended, they was like, you need to watch this and you should have him on your show. There's like, he'll tell the truth. He don't care. Like, I loved how raw and real. And I love that he also too was politically correct in the sense where he read the room. It wasn't any bashing on Teddy or anybody or any supporters.
He
It was
actually
like, these
lifted
are
him
just the
up.
facts.
He
Yeah.
actually lifted him up and commended him, and and everything. He just said it's an unfortunate thing that it's out there now. And the
Hmm.
repercussions of that. In terms of what Teddy had to say. But he didn't have anything negative, in my opinion, and listening to it to say about Teddy, which was amazing.
And no, I agree. And even him addressing some of the accusations of him, possibly mismanaging or stealing money, he went
Yeah,
ahead, like, call the police on me.
yeah,
That's
let's
very
go.
much bull energy, though. They very much like the scrabble. They like the fight. What squabble? That's what Kendrick Lamar say. They like to squabble up. So
Yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, call the police on me. I said, oh, Mr. Williams, you
Yeah, he here
talking like
for it. He here for it. I see you, Sir Roxy. He definitely was here for it. So
yeah,
good stuff, Janae. Just now I can talk about it. We were also trying to get Luke on the show as well,
yeah.
Uncle Luke, and that didn't pan out well either. Just I think Luke would have been a great contributor just to talk
Hmm.
about it from that end. And that's why I wanted to make sure I asked because that was some of my concerns too.
Yeah.
The
That
fallout
was a great
happening with
question.
Teddy Bridgewater, how would that now affect Luke and so I was happy to hear that, that has little to no effect on Luke's situation over there.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, this is my church side. They say what the devil meant for evil, God will turn it into good. And so, in a sense of like, people felt like, oh man, Teddy made this post and it caused all this, disruption, and now he got suspended, and we don't think it's fair. But I do think because he made that bold choice, I think we're going to see some sweeping changes in how the Florida High School Athletic Association deals with urban core schools and these unfair rules. I
Right.
also got, I'm not, this is unofficial, but I got a text while we were on live. I'm getting text. This is the most I've ever got text during a live show. Someone, this is unofficial, but I want to break it here just in case it breaks. I heard that Teddy actually did sign the paperwork, and so I think Mr. Williams hinted towards it. He was like, "This is
Yeah.
gonna change." So we got a little source, a little birdie told us unofficially, but I'm gonna put it out there. They said Teddy
Breaking
signed the
news.
paperwork, so y'all may be seeing Teddy get reinstated, real soon, real
Hey, that'll
soon.
be amazing.
Yes.
I just want to note that I wore my blue tie, in honor of you Bulls, you know what I'm saying? So, just want to say I recognize. I didn't have one with a little yellow in it, but, that's
No,
what's up.
I didn't even catch that, but I love it. Look, I wore my set it off hat because I was like, Teddy rolled up into my comments on Facebook talking about something tread lightly. I'm like, Mr. Bridgewater. And even to my managing editor, Derica, who I was producer, she was like, our content and coverage of this situation, kind of has been leaning towards Teddy. So, I'm not gonna say, he hasn't seen that, but I
maybe
thought it was kind of
maybe it
weird
was
that he was
maybe it
like
was
tread lightly. I'm like,
no,
what
man.
was I say?
No, but think about it. Maybe it could also that word could work two ways too. Now that I'm thinking of it too, it could be
Mhm.
like, tread lightly in terms of protecting ourselves. You know what I mean? So, it could, but when I first saw it, I didn't take it that way.
I'm like, look, and I said, Teddy, you can hop on too tonight if you want to. Somebody tell Teddy for real though. We would love to talk to him. This is a
Yeah,
welcome platform whenever he wants to share his story or tell us what he has going on. As far as his football coaching career, we would love to have a conversation with him. Like, we're Team Teddy, we Team Northwestern, we Team students. These are Black students in the urban core. To Veronica Wade's point, I love what she said. Derek, can you put her comment back on? She was like, this type of podcast should be done for all historically Black Miami-Dade schools. I love that's like the biggest compliment. The fact that you guys were feeling this conversation and love the guest that we had on tonight and how he was breaking down things and sharing things, whether you agreed or not agreed. He spoke his truth and shared it in great detail his views on everything, and that's all we can ask someone to do. And I feel like he actually gave us a lot of insight on the inside baseball that is Miami-Dade County Public Schools and Florida high school sports. Like, here's the thing, I'm getting texts from people who are high up in education, different people and community advocates. They're like, oh, what he's saying is true. I'm literally getting live fact checks on stuff that he's saying. So let's just, I know some of y'all, maybe whatever, Kool-Aid y'all drunk, but I feel like he was definitely dropping a lot of knowledge and facts, and he was very thorough and very concise and clear on
yeah,
what things meant and what it stood for, and just breaking all of that down. So just
yeah.
just dope interview all around. And
And,
PK, thanks for allowing me to go crazy with the
no,
questions
for
a little bit.
sure. No, that's your lane. And listen, we don't want to dump on anybody too, because we understand, man. After Teddy won, took those Bulls, so far, and then to feel like the rug was pulled from underneath you, that brings a level of emotion. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
sometimes, yeah, we all human. Certain things we move emotionally on. You know what I'm saying? So we understand. But nothing beats the facts. Nothing, beats understanding and taking time to educate yourself on something so that you could truly move forward and speak to it with some intelligence and understand the process of things. And I think that sometimes we have a hard time, especially when we're in this emotional state, to understand that certain things have a process. You know what I mean? Like when he was
Mm.
talking about the signing the papers, like I have a studio at Gwen Cherry Park. In order for me to be able to have a studio in my name at Gwen Cherry Park, I had to take fingerprints and fill out paperwork. You know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah. So because if I'm gonna be around kids, your kids, I gotta be
Mhm.
checked out. I gotta be background. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be mad at that. I have kids myself, so I get it. So although I don't work for the school and whatever, because I have the studio there and I have a key and I'm able to go there when I want, they had to do the due diligence and I had to be a registered volunteer and do the fingerprinting and paperwork. So I understood that part of it as well.
No, definitely. Me too. As a former coach, I coached at Carroll City for 2 years, and I had to do that process as well. So it's definitely you can't be around kids without it, and you don't want somebody around your kids without that paperwork as well. And like you said,
Right?
he said, and to Mr. Williams' point, he said it leaves the school open as a liability. So if anything happens, it's an open and shut case, and now you got the school exposed legally, where it can have some negative repercussions. So all of these different things going on in the background. And honestly, I feel like this at the end of the day. I hope Miami Northwestern family, whatever disagreement or Teddy has with the athletic director, neither one of them seem to not they're not going to leave and stop their love for Miami Northwestern. When Andre Williams was the AD at Carroll City, we all knew he loved Miami Northwestern. Like it was very clear. Like people even felt some sort of way. They felt like he was a little bit biased toward us as Chiefs because he loved Northwestern that much, and he let it be known that he was a alumni of that school. And we all know Teddy's love for that school. So I'm hoping that one day these two people, because even we didn't get into it, Mr. Williams didn't speak on it. I think he said Mr. Williams, Andre Williams, the AD, I think was the quarterback and coached the undefeated season when he was in school in the 80s.
Mhm.
So it's like they have that football connection, and I'm hoping that they could come to a common ground, and that the principal Puka can help facilitate that, and whatever other leaders in the Northwestern alumni community can help facilitate that, because nobody wins when the family feuds. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of this stuff could have been solved behind closed doors. I think that certain things could have been explained to Teddy so he didn't feel like he had to, come to the public. We've heard different things behind the scenes, and I feel like it could have been some better reconciliation and some better conflict management so that it didn't have to come to this. But I do think that everything happens for a reason, and Teddy making national news for giving back to these kids are going to shine a light on the unfair rules of the Florida High School Athletic Association. And before our interview today, I got a text from community advocate Tangela Sears, who let me know that there are state legislators working right now to help change some of these rules that are unfair to inner city kids, low income
Mhm.
kids who need the support. And no coach, no person working with kids gonna ever see you going hungry, going without, have to walk home at night at the like nobody's gonna let that happen, especially in some of our neighborhoods that may not be the safe. And so I've always said, like, what Teddy did was morally right. We just understood that the Florida High School Athletic Association rules are antiquated and don't take into account what Black kids and low income kids need in our communities. And even to Mr. Williams' point, he said people who legislate us don't have our best interests in mind. Like they're legislating us into poverty. And so I think that the fighting shouldn't be between Bridgewater and AD Williams. It should be against the Florida High School Athletic Association to me. Like these old white men are making rules for us, and we need to shift our focus to that and not each other. Like they want us fighting each other and not them.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's headed, especially if that news that you got, JD, comes to fruition. I think that's exactly where we're headed with it. So, you
Yes, I
know,
think I think that's what it is. Look, Northwestern to be y'all better do what y'all need to do to keep Teddy. Y'all better do what y'all need to do.
yeah. So, sorry, Carol City.
Because okay, I don't know, because Teddy made that post said y'all will be upset or something with whatever decision he make. And the way some big wigs in the Carroll City community was in the comments, I said, wait,
Yeah.
does this mean that he's going to Carroll City? I mean,
Shit.
we love him. Shout out to
Yeah.
Ashika in her comments. Facts, protecting our babies is the first priority. I mean, but y'all better don't act like Carroll City won't welcome him with open arms.
It got real quick.
That part.
Oh man, listen, great idea, Janae. Really spearheading this topic. Felt that it was really important, and glad to see that the outpour of people who wanted to tap in with it made it exactly the truth. So I'm glad we did this. Thank you, Janae.
No, me too. And I think the conversation uh that was needed to be had, and even we were talking about what we need to do in our community. uh Dr. Gallen has been on the Florida High School Athletic Association ass about
Mhm.
how they treat our students, the unfair practices when it comes to funding and the breaking down of the games. And so I'm glad somebody was there to kind of like also to co-sign like some of the community work that they have been doing to advocate for us, either leaving the Florida High School Athletic Association or amending some of these rules. It's just been really, really
Yeah.
unfair. So yeah. I'm laughing. Sorry. Shout out to Chicken and Backwoods, Lamborghini Law in the comments. He
Hey.
said Teddy will coach at Cafe Rouilly before Carol.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm
I
dead.
know. Look, PK, while we got the people on the line, we got still a decent number of people watching. Let's tell them about what we're doing next week for the finale.
Oh yes, if we can get Derica to give us that screen that we had before, there she is, ready to go. I'm waiting till that screen pop up. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, a week from today, we want you to join us for That Pot Podcast live. That's right, we are going to be live at Duce Lounge in Pembroke Pines next week, August 6th, from 6 to 10 p.m. doing a live podcast at our very special confirmed guests. It ain't like special guests like back in the days. They put it on a flyer just to attract y'all to come out there. These people are going to be in the building and they are confirmed. Grammy Award-winning writer, artist, producer Rico Love, local home team artist No Duet, home team event producers bringing you some of our home team artists and other acts. Space Jenkins, home team artist Bushy B on the rise right now doing his thing, and the mogul, the CEO of Slip and Slide Records, Ted Lucas. We are talking about the state of Miami music. So we want to invite you to come actually hang out with us. That's right. Set the day, come have drinks, food. The food is amazing at Duce Lounge in Pembroke Pines. The drinks are going to be cheap and nice and good. And you can watch us do the show live. We're going to network, mix and mingle. You get to meet some of our very special guests, take some pictures with them and with us as well, and have a good old time as we end out this series of our show. And for those who are just getting to understand how our show works, we developed this show strictly around the voting periods here in South Florida mainly, and so we do series. So we're up to our last series, this last one here next week, and then we're gonna take a little break for a few weeks, and we'll be back the second week in September for another 8 shows leading into Election Day. So although this is an off year for elections, we still continue with the show. Of course, next year will be a gubernatorial election, so we'll be back at it heavy next year. So that's the way the show works. It starts Juneteenth. We go for 8 weeks, take a break. Then it starts the second week, like around September 11th, and it goes up until the week before election. And we do those 2 series each year. So thank you so much, man. We can't wait to see a lot of y'all up close and personal next week for our That Pot Podcast live at Duce Lounge in Pembroke Pines. And we're going to have a great time. Make sure you get there before 7:30 so you can be settled. And we are going to start the taping at 7:30 sharp.
Yes. And you mentioned like from 6 p.m. until the taping. It's kind of like a networking, mix and
Yeah,
mingle
mix and mingle.
situation.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And afterwards as well. So if you're
mhm.
tied up and you can't make it at that time, pull up, the show will probably be going on. And then afterwards, we'll probably end like around 9:30. Then we're going to mix and mingle until,
Yes. Y'all don't want to miss this one. This one, like, see, like PK said, not everything is like super duper politics with us. This is more of like a social hot topic situation like tonight. And
Mhm.
y'all don't want to miss the conversation. Y'all see how we hit hard, the tonight. If tonight's interview is any indication on what we're gonna do next week, y'all do not want to miss this. So make sure y'all RSVP on Eventbrite. Make sure y'all do
Yes,
that. It's free, but
please.
y'all gotta make sure y'all RSVP to enter. Okay, like
Right, because
all
we
we
can
ask.
only hold a certain amount of people at Duce Lounge. So I think
Mhm.
the limit is what, 200 or something like that, or 100 and something?
Yeah, like
100.
I think you said like 170.
Yeah, something like that. So we just want to make sure that, we guarantee everybody you know, who registered gets in. All right. But
Yes.
my mom, what she said, viral topic, informative. Thanks, Janae and PK and Mr. Williams.
Goodness, hey, Mama Walcott, we We love you. Thank you. Look, and I like what our family be in the comments show it out. But I love what my fiance Tanta said. Y'all cover the whole culture, and we really do. That's what it is. It's about not just politics and all of those things, but it's the culture of South Florida and overall how can we make our area, our market better. And honestly, music in Miami to me is something that I don't know why we're not like Atlanta. Like, I don't know why we missed that wave. And I feel like this conversation will help us figure out what went wrong and where we need to go because there's so much talent down here. And I've always wondered that. And so who else to have this conversation with other than PK, the radio god? Like he's seen a lot too. So I think this gonna be so fun and allow us to switch gears and show people a different light on like, what we could do. Letting them see how we cook this season.
Yep. That part. That part.
That part. PK, how can people follow you on social media?
Follow me on my Instagram at Papa_Keith. That's PAPA_KEITH. I think Janae and I are going head for head to see who could do the most interviews. We be going crazy, Janae.
Oh, you do your page. I'm like another one.
But that's what I be saying about yours. I be turning around and like you interviewing another person, and I'm like, it just makes total sense, and and we don't even be really stepping on toes, maybe once in a while, but it's like it's fluid. So between the both of us, we got damn near everything covered. So yeah, you could check out my interviews there. I mostly put up my interviews and my work there. And please follow Just Vote Period. .com. You can go to the website and check us out or at Just Vote Period on Instagram. Just Vote Period is really to get our 18 to 49-year-olds activated, registered to vote, and involved in democracy. We try to make it cool. We're the cool kids that vote, and we try to get as many other cool kids to vote and understand the importance of democracy so we can really, truly move the needle. And you hear most of our conversations, even though we spoke about sports today, and even though next week we're going to talk about music, it still boils down to politics. It just does. You know what I mean? So when you hear people say like, oh, I don't do politics, well, politics does the hell out of you.
That part.
Everything from you get up in the morning, even in your sleep, politics is working on your ass. So let's get involved and let's support people who want to, advocate for a better life for us, man. We done been through too much, man. Too much. Shout out to Roy Hardiman on the check-in right there. Man, we appreciate everybody.
Roy, what you talking about? Book me. Shout out to Roy, but what you talking about? I don't even know what you mean right now. But you can put it in the comments, DM me. PK, this has been amazing. I hope you're feeling better, friend. I need to get me a chain. I hope you're feeling better.
Gotta get you a high-low.
Oh yes. Can I be hood like you and get up fabulous like you?
It's just to get people attention, man. Boy, you should see them white people. I'll be going to certain events and putting on my tuxedos and wearing this chain. They be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool."
I like that. I like that.
It's an attention getter. I wear my hat backwards, go to these, events, and let them know, yeah, I'm in the room too. Let's go.
Yes.
Man, it's been great. Thank you so much, Janae.
Thank you, PK.
Tell them about High Low News, though.
Oh, yes. Follow High Low News on all social media platforms at HYLONEWS. We're on every platform. As y'all saw, it was scrolling on the screen. So make sure y'all follow us. And yeah, just do that. That's all I ask. And sign up for our email newsletter. Go to HighLowNewsMiami.com and sign up for our email newsletter.
That part. Too. All right, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Till next week, we live. And if you can't be there live at Duce Lounge in Pembroke Pines, you could just definitely join us on the live stream here as well. All right?
Yes, definitely. That part. Bye.
All right.